Good morning, Sheila. How are you today?
Good morning, Wayne. I'm all the better for talking with you this morning.
And I'm almost good because, oh my goodness. And I have to apologize to our listening audience. Last week, my computer told me it needed a chiropractic. What's that? What'd you say? A chiropractic
Adjustment.
adjustment. it, it
Grr.
it did not want to wake up, did not want to get in the mood. It did not want to do anything last week. So, oh my goodness. And
Mm,
that's why we missed it. It's all my fault. I apologize. But welcome,
not your
everyone.
fault.
Welcome, everyone, back to 27 Minutes with Sheila and Wayne, where we explore the fascinating world of verbs and their impact on our daily lives. Join us each week when we don't need a chiropractic adjustment with the computer as we delve into the different ways that verbs shape our language and influence what we do, as we are attempting to make a positive difference in our world, one verb at a time. And Sheila, what might our verb be for today?
Today's verb is a word that use to devote time and attention to acquiring knowledge. The verb is to study.
To study. Excellent. Oh, and one more thing.
Yes.
We can add what another five countries to our
Oh,
list of countries that we have been listened to in. And so, welcome to Saudi Arabia, Romania, Georgia, Ecuador, and Colombia. So
yay.
fun when that happens. I love that. The analytics, golly.
Right.
So, what kind of definitions did you come up with, or would you like me to give you my four?
I would like to hear your four, and then I'm going to add a few that I picked up from the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, okay. Haha, that will be interesting.
hmm
So, to study, to learn about a subject, especially in an educational course or by reading books. Number two, to examine something very carefully. Number three, to read in detail, especially with the intention of learning. I like that one in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And my last one, to consider attentively or in detail. And now your urban legends.
Okay, so first of all, I want to tell you what the Urban Dictionary is. It is not reliable source for factual formal definitions. It's a crowdsourced online dictionary that specifically defines slang, informal words, and phrases that are not found in traditional dictionaries. So
Ah,
I've got five here. The first one is texting, eating, and watching TV with an open textbook nearby.
okay.
The next one, teacher says your homework is to study. You say, no homework. Number three, memorizing material the day before a test and completely forgetting all the information exactly after the test is taken or sometimes before.
Uh-huh.
Number four, it's the
I've done
code.
that one.
Number four, the code word given when speaking of smoking marijuana when over the phone or in public.
Oh,
And number five, a blend of the words student and dying used to alert the victim as to how they will feel while participating in the activity. I think we can guess the general age and education level of the people coming up with these
I
definitions.
think so. Oh my good, how fun, how fun. Yes. And what were your thoughts initially when we talked about study, when we pulled that out of the randomly, what's that, the random generate verb generator that
A
you
random
have?
AI verb generator. Yep, yep.
Yes.
Um, the free random AI verb generator.
Aha.
Um, I really started saying so we've talked about learning before and what's the difference between studying and learning, I wondered. So I looked up on my AI overview. And it said study refers to the process of acquiring knowledge through reading, memorization, or attending classes, while learning signifies the actual acquisition of knowledge or skills through experience, practice, or education. So one of them sounds more passive, the other sounds more active. And in summary, it says studying is the act of preparing and engaging with material, while learning is the successful acquisition and understanding of the material. So I think you can use them interchangeably if, in fact, studying is something you're doing to learn as opposed to pass a test.
And you know what? I I didn't realize it was that connection when I did
Okay.
it, but I have
Uh-huh.
done what you just said.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I was in undergrad,
Hmm.
I was taking classes, obviously, to get my undergraduate degree.
Sure.
However, when I was taking some of those classes, you get to choose this one or that one.
Yes. The electives. Yeah.
I would choose that one because it was harder and it was something
Ah,
more of a in-depth knowledge base.
okay.
And a lot of my fellow classmates would say, "Why are you taking all those hard courses?" And I said, "Because I really want to learn
Yeah.
about these things. I don't want to
Yeah.
study it for a test and then forget it.
Right.
I want to learn this because I learned, as my dad and my mom used to tell me all the time, people can take things away from you, but they can't take away your education,
Oh, I like that.
whether that's informal or formal. All right,
Right.
education.
Right.
Um, and so I wanted to learn some things. So I took a price theory course as
Oh,
opposed to just, a course on how prices are set. I wanted to know
okay.
why they were set, how they were set, who set them.
Yeah.
I wanted to know all of that, and it
Y-
was really cool.
Can I venture to say that that has continued to be your life pattern about learning and studying?
Yes, it has. It really
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And when I switched from just studying to pass a test
Uh-huh.
to studying to learn, I found education more fun
Mm.
and more rewarding
Mm-hmm.
for me. Just for me. That's
Yeah.
just Wayne. But it was, yeah, it was a mindset. It was a mind change. It was, yes, I enjoyed it. I really did. I really
Very
do.
cool.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Probably why you're doing this podcast.
Well, you know what? You and I are both learning so much,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's really kind of fun. Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
As our list of all those things, all those new words and terms and concepts continues to grow, so does our wealth of information and knowledge. I like
I
that.
think it makes us good conversationalists at cocktail parties.
Well, it makes you a good conversationist
You're
because
studying the room.
I'm still an introvert. So
Oh.
if they come to my corner, I'll engage them. But if they don't come to my corner that I'm in, we're not getting there.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So, and what did you find in your research for this word?
Well, I have a few quotes first.
Okay. We love
First one,
quotes.
yeah, I do. Marilyn Vos Savant says, to acquire knowledge, one must study, but to acquire wisdom, one must observe,
Oh,
which is not unlike what we're talking about here if you use learning and observing in the same category there.
exactly. Yes.
Confucius said, study the past if you would divine the future.
Mm.
So
He always
uh,
has good
he
sayings.
does had a lot of good stuff. I'm so glad someone wrote them down and preserved them for us to learn from today. So,
Yes.
an English poet named Walter Savage Landor said, study is the bane of childhood, the oil of youth, the indulgence of adulthood, and a restorative in old age.
Mm. Okay.
So the quotes that I had from the Urban Dictionary were along the lines of the bane of childhood.
I got it.
And yet here we are, perhaps in one of the categories down the continuum, saying that studying is a really great thing.
Yes. Ah, too fun. Well, I was intrigued by the
Okay.
verb.
Yes.
And for the reasons I've already explained to you, how my thought process shifted while I was in school. But I remember just as a kid, because we all start studying at a very early age.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whether we know it or not, we're studying because
Mm-hmm.
we watch and learn from those
Exactly.
around us.
Exactly. The observing part. Yeah.
Yes, because we study our moms and our dads, we study our
Yep.
siblings, our next door neighbors. We watch and study individuals that we admire,
Mm-hmm.
those that we want to emulate, those that we want to imitate, and those
Mm-hmm.
who we respect and want to be like. I remember in the military, this one colonel I worked for, I swore he was born a colonel. Just he came out, boom, and he was already a colonel and had all this wealth of information and knowledge.
Okay.
um, but what does it take to study? Because we have to have a reason, I think, to
Uh-huh.
study. So you must have a goal, one. Otherwise, you
Okay.
won't know when you're successful, when you've reached that level. Okay, I'm here. You should use an all source approach. So don't limit yourself. Leonardo da Vinci learned Latin to access scientific and other scholarly texts.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Tesla learned a different language to study motors. And
Ah.
I thought that's pretty cool because I think, and I read about another guy, I think he was Polish and he was working with the steam engine.
Hmm.
And the Germans were huge into the steam engine at that time. So he learned the German language so that he could read the engineering information or informative kinds of things in this one voluminous things of just notes and words and ideas and concepts so that he can really study it and to learn a language so that you can get to that minute detail
Uh-huh.
is really
Oh,
tough.
yeah. When you're talking technical terms and
Exactly. Yes.
right.
Because we're beyond the good morning and thank you. It's
And
it's the
where's the bathroom?
concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to understand and learn the innuendos because we
Right.
we say a lot of things that don't necessarily make sense. I remember this one cartoon, um, and it was a guy talking to a person in from Africa,
Hmm.
and he said the guy who was not from Africa said, "Oh yeah, that's like a man-eating tiger," and the African goes, "Where?"
Oh.
So to get all those nuances,
Yes. Yes.
you really have to dive deep into the language to understand that, and that's what a lot of people have done. And I think that's very very just admiring to me. I just wish I
Yeah.
could do that. I'm sure I probably could. I just
Yeah.
don't want to spend the time.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say something, but you have completed the thought yourself.
Anyway, I have an article that I found that I really liked, and it's by Carrie Ann Edinburgh, and she says, "Why study?" And there's 17 reasons and benefits to improve and motivate you by studying.
Uh-huh.
However, I want to turn back to you because wow, it's already 15 minutes. Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
All right.
Ah, go ahead.
I want to talk about something I read in the MIT Press Reader by Meredith Broussard called "Why Paper Maps Matter in the Digital World."
Oh,
Because I think we've talked before, or I have talked with people of my generation before about how we grew up having to study a map and trace the route before you ever got in the car. Maybe you
yes.
wrote a few notes down. Always had a map in the car.
Uh-huh.
And so she said a glance at the research reveals there are distinct advantages to using print maps. This does apply to studying, and I'll tell you how. Most people who have smartphones assume that the era of the paper map is over. They use their phones, Google Maps, etc. But she says cognitive researchers make a distinction generally between surface knowledge and deep knowledge, and that digital interfaces like your Google Maps are good for acquiring surface knowledge, but when you live in a place where you want to travel meaningfully, deep knowledge of the geography and topography will help you to navigate it and understand its culture and history better, which is so much deeper than just getting from A to B.
Yes.
So she said studies have shown that people who read on paper consistently demonstrate better reading comprehension than people who read the same material on a screen, and that print maps help you to acquire deep knowledge faster and more efficiently. So I liked that information, but she goes on to describe a little bit more about how your brain encodes the knowledge and that sensory clues, like unfolding the complicated folds of a paper map, and I, for one, am one who folds it back on the same lines, but I've known people who don't, and it
Uh-huh.
makes me a little uncomfortable. Nevertheless, The physical act of doing that helps create the cognitive map in the brain, especially if you're like tracing out the hiking route or the driving route with your finger. The physical act of moving your arm and hand and feeling the paper under your finger gives your brain haptic and sensory motor cues that contribute to the formation and retention of the cognitive map,
Ah,
which I thought was, I never thought of it that way. I really like that. So she came up with the term techno chauvinists, who believe, in this case, that all digital maps are good, but in truth, we know, just like getting information from artificial intelligence or chat GPT, you have to really fact check. And so, as an example, she said that they did a research project between Google Maps and, was it Amazon Maps? Um, but what they found was that the second company, and I'm not thinking it was Amazon, but necessarily Google is the one that consistently updates their maps, and so they are 84% accurate as opposed to the 74% accurate that some of the other map systems are.
okay.
So, in addition, this was really interesting. Right now, ambulance and fire trucks often keep a road atlas in the cab of the truck in case electronic navigation fails, and we've seen that happen.
Yes.
And we say, why isn't my phone working when it's a bigger system? But another interesting fact is that the U.S. Navy has resumed training new recruits in celestial navigation, which dates back to ancient Greece, as a guard against when the digital grid gets hacked.
Aha.
So it's not a competition between physical and digital, but it's probably a good idea to keep both kinds of assets available, especially if you're taking a long trip in a rural area. So I really liked learning about studying and how it can change your brain depending on
The
the
medium that you're
technology,
using.
the medium. Thank you that you use. Thank you.
So I wonder what you would say is there a difference between, and I'm not being facetious, I'm
Right.
asking the question, is there a difference between Kindle and a hardback book?
Boy, that's a good question for more study.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that to just be facetious. That's a really good. Maybe the difference is reading for pleasure versus studying for, for deeper knowledge.
Okay. Huh. I wonder. Interesting.
Yeah, I'll look that up.
And my wife absolutely enjoys paper maps. She
Okay,
does not like the Google Maps or the GPS maps on the cars
right. Uh-huh.
or the phones. She likes paper maps, and she always makes a comment. Where you don't have any paper maps in your car? How come? Why not? You should.
My mom stopped driving a couple years ago because she said she doesn't think when you're 95 you should be driving.
Okay.
But I think to the last day of her driving, she still kept a paper map in her car,
Okay. Huh.
just just to have it.
And when the map that I'm using on my GPS says turn left and there's a no turn left way
Oh,
to
right.
go,
Correct.
my wife goes, "See, where's your paper map?"
Oh, that's great. She probably can't wait for those. I mean, if it were me, I would say, "Oh, I hope I have another opportunity
Yes,
to
she'll pull that
remind
out
my
at
husband."
every cost, at every cost, every turn. Yes.
I was visiting New York City last week, and I was using my map on pedestrian mode to look up some places I really wanted to visit.
Okay.
And because I hadn't factored in that we were in tall buildings and that that it could affect the reception I was getting, and I would be walking one way, I was walking circles around 2 blocks just trying to find
Oh no.
which way is my phone telling me to go. I don't know.
Okay.
So.
Ah. Well,
Should have traced the route with my finger. Go ahead.
Carrie Ann Edinburgh says,
Yes.
reasons and benefits to inspire and to motivate. Why study?
Oh, good.
And she says, one is the first one, the joy of success and achievement. Wow.
Mm,
You've done 4 years of study. You've got your undergraduate degree. Yay. Time to
yeah.
celebrate and throw that hat in the air. Yes.
Hmm.
She says, earn praise from others. Here's one that I particularly enjoyed. Now, it sounds egotistical, but when I was using it for this one particular purpose, it wasn't egotistical. It was because I wanted to get better
Hmm.
and I wanted to make the team. And she said, number three, she says, to be the best. Now, I worked with this group. There was 150 of us in this one place, and four out of 150, only four out of 150 could do this one particular um, thing, if
Okay.
you will. Okay,
Okay.
and so to get into that top four, you had to be interviewed, you had to be observed, you had to do some study, you had to learn more things, and I did all of that, but I continued to study because I wanted to be number one out of those four.
Hmm.
And again, it wasn't to be egotistical, it was to be just better at what it was that I was doing. It was for a
Yeah.
job, actually.
Hmm.
And I wanted to be better than all the others four on that team, or other three on that team, just because if I wasn't the best there, then I
Hmm.
shouldn't have been there, was my thought
Okay.
process. That
Okay.
was my thought process. If anybody can do it, then anybody should do it. However, if I'm going to do it, then I need to be the best. I want to
Okay.
I want to target on my back because I want people to say I want to be better than Wayne, so I can do that too.
Yeah.
And I think that makes us all better. So
Yeah.
anyway, that I'm not sure if that's self-serving or what, but I did it for those reasons. She says to engage with your self-development. And I thought, engage with my self-development. So it's going you're introspectively asking yourself, hey, what do I need to do to be better? What do I need to do to be good?
Yeah.
Do I need to do any of these things? She says, advance your academic goals, which we already kind of said. Fulfill your academic dreams. Okay, staying on academia here.
Hmm.
And here's one. It says, secure a place at a good university or program. And again, there's that competition to
Mm.
be better than someone else, not because you're egotistically wanting to do that, but because it sets you apart.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of cool. One last one here before I come back to
Hmm.
you. Oh, 5 minutes and 36. Today is going fast.
Yeah.
She says meaningful career prospects and opportunities. And again, as I said, I was doing that, studying and wanting to go through that whole 6 months of study and ritual and events and tests and whatever,
Hmm.
um, just for a career prospect. And it happened, and it was good, and I was happy. And yet I realized once I got there was so much more to learn,
Hmm.
and we don't seem to sometimes see that. So anyway, planning for the future, right? I don't
Hmm.
know.
Right.
Okay, coming back to you, my friend.
Oh, well, first I wanted to say what I really liked about what you just described is you had external goals, but really your internal goal was to do it to just to learn more. You were very self-motivated. I'm guessing that when you were competitive with those other people, you never said, I'm going to beat you. And you never said, I beat you. It was for yourself and your image, self-image.
Yeah, never did. That never even occurred to me to say those kinds of
Right,
things.
right. Because it
Yes,
wasn't about them, it was about you.
exactly.
I like that.
Yes.
Well, I have one article I'm just talk about a little quickly, and then we'll get back to your pro tips. I'm sure you have some. Um, this is the studyjournal.com. There's such a thing. And this is an article by Paul Scott in 2023 called What Happens to Your Brain When You Study Too Much? And basically, he said it's not about not being dedicated, but there is such a thing as overdoing it, and then it's counter effective if you excessively study. And so what he said is that when you study too much, your cognitive functions can be negatively affected because and it can lead to a decreased attention span, difficulty in retaining information, reduced problem solving abilities. And I can definitely identify this when I would try to do a study overnighter. I was worthless in the morning because I was too tired to focus.
Okay.
So, moreover, he says prolonged studying without adequate rest can hinder the brain's ability to process the information effectively.
Okay.
And he said there are psychological consequences of studying too much. It can take a toll on your mental health. It can increase stress levels, leading to anxiety and burnout. And the constant pressure to perform excellently can contribute to feelings of inadequacy. I've seen kids where they just got to the point where what's the is this going to be on the test, as opposed to the delight of studying where I want to know more information. So to conclude, he said, how can we maintain a healthy balance for optimal mental performance? You take breaks. You make sure you get enough sleep. You make sure you get enough nutrition. You break your studying sessions into manageable chunks. And he said using active learning techniques. So I was talking about paper and tracing with your finger, using create your own flashcards, things like
Oh,
that.
yes.
Incorporating regular review sessions as opposed to just trying to memorize it all at once. Come back a bit later, review it. Come back a bit later, review it. Of course, eating a well balanced diet rich in nutrients can support your brain function.
Hmm.
Adequate sleep strengthens your neural connections. Um, he talked about employing relaxation techniques regularly spaced in your studying, such as deep breathing exercises or engaging in hobbies like maybe setting up Christmas villages or something like that,
Oh,
can help reduce stress and promote brain rejuvenation. And then finally, he said social connections are important for brain health because interaction stimulates cognitive function, provides a balance to the academic demands, and also makes you a better rounded person. So
okay.
there we go.
I like those. Yes. And I see the clock says 1 minute and
Okay.
25 seconds
I
left. So
know you have some more things to say, Wayne.
I'm going to skip the rest of what what's her name, Ann Edinburgh. I'm gonna
Okay.
skip what Carrie Ann Edinburgh said, and I'm just going to go to my pro tips.
Okay.
However, my pro tip starts with a Langston Hughes quote.
Good.
He says, "If you want to go, you have to know you want to go." And my pro tips are in association with what he just said. You have to be all in. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
show up every day, and you've got to continue to learn and study. Otherwise, you fall behind. And there's my pro tips. 44
Excellent.
seconds. I'll leave it to you, my friend.
Well, remember, I would say studying isn't just about memorizing facts, it's about growing and exploring and staying curious. And I just randomly looked up that 84 colleges in the United States have adult education programs, or universities offer adult education degrees, but many more offer adult education sessions, and they don't always charge, and it's worth exploring. So, thank you. Listening to a podcast like this is about studying and increasing our brain activity, at least on our point. But we thank you for listening, and thank you, Wayne.
Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, everyone. See you next Wednesday.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Whoever wrote that Oscar music did such a great job. Whoops. Are you there?